Hello. Welcome back to a LuxAlgo live stream. My name is Jacob. It's good to see you guys again. Got my main man Mickey over here.
Hey, what's up? Good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon to those of you around the world. Appreciate you tuning in once again. And we're trying to do these, like we said last stream, at least twice a week. We might come and do maybe, one, once a day at some point. But we definitely want to do one at market open here soon. But for now, of course, as you've seen, the markets are taking a hit, taking a pretty bad one the past few days because, we just failed to not mention anything about rate hikes or even increasing or decreasing. But like this headline says, declines to hike, but point rates staying higher for longer. Now, we heard from Jerome yesterday about talking, saying that there's a potential maybe that there could be a little bit more hiking going on, but they're definitely trying to prevent from saying anything close to that. But it does seem like they want to keep this around longer, which isn't too great, obviously, because of the massive bear market that we've had the past 2 days. So yeah, let's kind of jump back over to that and see. I mean, you can already see today we're down another 1% on the S&P. If we look over the past 2 days, I mean, it's nothing but red. Let's see, on just from FOMC yesterday, we're down nearly 3%. So terrible move so far. But for those of you that are capitalizing on the downside, great job. Especially if you predicted this. I mean, everyone knows FOMC can be very, very iffy, but a lot of the times it's not very good, especially after COVID. So if you did end up trading this to the downside, great job on that. But hopefully we can find a level to kind of settle down and then kind of gather our positions and get back up there at some point. But for now we're stuck in a bloodbath, as the title says. But yeah, so like always, as people start to tune in, we're just going to go over a broad view of what's going on since FOMC and since Tuesday when we were last live. Here is the 4-hour chart on the ES. And we talked about this several times, finding those, multiple levels of confluence. And honestly, seeing this on the ES and this massive turning point we had with FOMC, you can notice even from that low there, we had, today's move of 1.5% nearly. And man, what a move to the downside it was just from that massive bearish candle. Now, a lot of you might not enter on something like that, but notice, like we talked about before, you had that bearish turning point in the oscillator, bearish break of structure, and then we're in a bearish signal and bearish smart trail. So overall, I mean, even into today, you could have assumed, based on the news as well, it could have been a nice little sell-off point to take a potential position, especially breaking this sideways smart trail. So for the S&P 500 on the 4-hour right now, we have this nice high volume order block sitting down there at 43.80. That would be our initial target right now, especially with the market super extended to the downside. Now, of course, because of FOMC yesterday, we might have a bigger pullback through that level, but that's the first level of significance that we'll be watching, is down there off that order block of 43.80, 43 as low as 43.65, 66 level. But give us an overlay for free for 1 hour. We can look at the 1 hour chart for sure if you would like for the ES here. Let me throw on the watermark as well. But again here, ES 1 hour chart. Let me take off the labeling so you don't see the thing there. But we have 17 sensitivity on here. And my goodness, just like we said yesterday, a nice massive sell-off that happened, but it was already in that pretty big downtrend there. So overall, not too bad of a way to spot this potentially coming, because we never broke that smart trail to the upside, but got another strong bearish signal. And then there you go. Nice little sell off there. Let's jump over to some of y'all's favorite gold here on the 1 hour. See kind of where we're at today from Tuesday. On Tuesday, we were talking about, let's see here. Yeah, we were in this uptrend. See, where were we at Tuesday? Like midday here. Yeah. So we were still in this uptrend. Remember what I talked about several times is noticing, a nice trend change for me. And let's change the sensitivity for what it's supposed to be now, but it's at 10. So we'll probably end up having a little bit more signals here. But there you go. So let's, we'll take a look at Tesla as well. If you guys want to look at a specific thing, just put it up in the chat. I'm happy to go over that, and we can look into where the direction might head. For now, obviously, with the FOMC that came on this week, we're not looking very bullish, but some assets could be already undervalued, so there could be a potential of upside entry, but we'll look at them as we go through the stream today. But for now, for gold, like we talked about on Tuesday, right, we were in this uptrend. We had several break of structures. This is the 1 hour chart you can see here in the background. That's the 1 hour chart. And what I like to see, like I've always talked about, is that break of structure at least 1 or 2 times, and then a flip into a change of character. That's pretty much confirming that we had an uptrend and now we're getting a reversal. So noticing that if I were to take off the signals and overlays here, we had a change of character right after a break of structure, but also with the signals and overlays, we had a bearish signal and a smart trail flip. So essentially what I look for, like we've always talked about, is a lower high type setup, possibly with the oscillator giving us a little bit of a reset. So here on this lower high would have been probably a pretty good entry for a short position. On the 1 hour, it was showing that resistance off of this previous support as well. So noticing that could have been a great little entry there. If you were to just mark that support, you could see it rejected off of that previous support on gold 1 hour here. Now, for those of you that always ask about the settings, I use default on the LuxAlgo price action concepts. I use the default on these signals and overlays and the oscillator matrix. All three, all on default. And we might touch on a few features today as well that we haven't in the past few streams. But that's the 1 hour on gold. Still extended here on this oscillator at that 20 level though, but it seems to be trending. So in consideration to where we are at, we do have this downside order block. I maybe project that we might come down to the 1908 level where that order block is sitting. Now we have had 2 legs down in this trend, so we could have a retracement before we continue lower. But for now, this is no area for entry at all. This is not an area for entry. The only way I would look for an entry is if we had a retracement on the oscillator to set up for a potential downside move again. So for now, trend strength's pretty low as well on that downside. If that was a little bit greater, then I probably would look for an entry. But for now, we missed that opportunity on the 1 hour here. And let's get into the Bitcoin now. Those of you asking about Bitcoin, I like to go through the majors of each market. And this is the Bitcoin 1 hour. We've finally broken out of this little bit of consolidation that we had. Remember on the daily chart, we mentioned that massive order block bounce. Well, guess what? We said let's target 27,000. And we ended up hitting 27,000, but now look, we're rejecting that 27,000. So that order block there we know is significant. It's also lining up with the smart trail. As you can see here, if I tick off the order blocks, there's that smart trail sitting there as well. So those together sitting there could really indicate a nice level of resistance, as well as we've had a previous strong area of resistance there too. So noticing that level coming into play with this and the oscillator extended, you could essentially take in a nice little short entry if you wanted. if you understood that we were in consolidation. And let me adjust. There you go. I needed to adjust my sensitivity to 11 because the dashboard told me to. But there you go, off that order block as well. And we're down from that order block. If you were to take that reject, we're down now 2.5%. So overall, a nice little reject we had off of that upside order block that we originally targeted once we saw this confirmation. So nice little bounce there on Bitcoin. But for now, let's see. We're in this downtrend still. Let's see if we can retest that lower order block. This is the daily chart. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit on the 1 hour. And again, this is what we talk about every single time we enter this stream, is this break of structure into a change of character. And we got a bearish signal, right? Break of structure, several break of structures. There's two. There's another change of character, bearish signal. We get a nice little lower high there, and then we break that smart trail, which ended up being a perfect setup. Now, of course, you can as well trade just the price action on some of these. So if you were to use the price action concepts, we had a nice setup with the oscillator filtering that as well. With that break of structure, change of character, that's one confluence, right? Our second confluence would be this turning point with the on the downside of the oscillator and the money flow breaking threshold. So 1, 2, 3, nice little setup, lower high for 4. Could have had an entry there with a nice short stopping point here. So if you would have taken your entry off of a reject, probably somewhere about there, had a nice short stop there, targeted the lower order block, that would hit 1.5 to 1. So again, that was a very nice setup just by using price action concepts and the LuxAlgo oscillator matrix. So seeing all those together works, but just this level of confluence here with the signals just adds that extra confirmation. And if you're in consolidation, you could take off the smart trail because that's a trend following tool to kind of help you trade through this as well. So seeing that flip, and also this is another good thing. If you want to identify an aggressive flip on these, you can notice we have strong bullish volume from this bullish signal right into strong bearish volume. So that's definitely saying that the bears are stepping in to potentially take this thing back to its previous support, which is exactly what it did. So Bitcoin for now, we're at that lower order block. So for me, I would want to see this set up. We do have that break of structure. I would want to see some type of support happen because this is previous support that I was holding on this 26,000 level. If you look at, let's go into the 5 minute for you guys that like to scalp here. We have an optimized sensitivity of 13. We can take a look at, a potential play. Now I do, because we're on a lower time frame, I do like having that smart trail up. And we are currently in a situation where we might have a trade setup because of what we like to see, right? We like to see these break of structures right into a change of character. Now all I need to see is we got that bullish signal. I need to see this retracement hold and this money flow to actually hold and increase. So that money flow can break that threshold and we get a bullish turning point here soon. It could indicate for a nice long trade. Honestly, a long scalp. I wouldn't consider a long-term trade on the 5 minute chart, but a nice long-term scalp here could, and you can see now it's already trying to get that turning point happening. The only thing I don't like is look at the difference here on the bearish money flow versus the bullish money flow. Very, very, very tiny down there. So this would definitely be a scalp, a lower risk trade. So I would definitely want to see if we get, a nice bullish volume step into the Bitcoin here at this level. Now, knowing on the daily chart though that we are kind of in the middle of this rejection, scalping is all I would do off that 5 minute. We're in a nice rejection to the downside here. So flipping to like the 4 hour now, we changed this to 15. We are ending this order block, but notice we are in a sell candle and a rejection of a previous order block as well. So in the 4-hour chart, I'm not a huge fan of this being a trade. And Mickey, one of his favorite things that he always goes over is he doesn't like to trade inside of a 4-hour order block. And I totally get that. He wants to see it either clear the lows or clear the highs of that order block. So if this were to bounce back, there's a potential of it, having a nice continuation of this trend. But noticing this order block reject on the 4-hour, I might be a little skeptical to taking a long position on the 5-minute chart here. So let's head over to our next asset, which we like to go over, and that's Euro USD. We like to look over every major, of course. Let's look at the daily chart on the Euro USD and talk about, we're still in that same level of confluence. Still in that same level of no man's land here that we've been keeping an eye on. And we haven't approached any of these order blocks. The oscillator is still kind of sitting low down here. So potentially we might head down to that order block before seeing anything soon. But if we zoom into the 4-hour, there's a potential idea here. We're still at 11 sensitivity as the dashboard states. We did have this minor break of structure into a change of character. I wouldn't consider that as good as seeing multiple break of structures here after a change of character. But for now, we are stuck in this strong downtrend. So seeing this strong downtrend on the Euro USD, for now, we're at these lows. Why would I short when we're at a low? I would like to see a nice reset, maybe some consolidation before looking short. But if you were to look for a long, let's look at the 1 hour, see if we got any adjustments here. And no, there's nothing much. We're just trading sideways at the moment. So there's not much that I would consider taking here on the Euro USD, because look at the smart trails. Look at the multiple change of characters. Look at the multiple signals. All of this is telling me we are ranging. So there's no reason to be taking that. And we are on optimized sensitivity. So noticing that range here is something I want to get out of. So I would want to get out of this little bit of a range that we have here before considering any trade. And that's the best part about using this. People ask, how do I identify a range using these indicators? Well, you do it just like that. Are there multiple signals going back and forth? Are there multiple change of characters? Is the smart trail flat? All of that's happening on Euro USD 1 hour right now. So because we're in this range, what I could do is, like we talked about, I could flip to a signal mode of contrarian if I wanted to. And then let's see if that sensitivity changes on the optimized. Yeah, so it's to 10. I could flip to that. And then I'm trading these extended areas as well. And let me take off the candle coloring. If I go to contrarian gradient, I do have to take off the price action concepts to see it. But again, here, this is going to have you trade extended areas. Now, I would link these with the oscillator for proper entries. So noticing here, we have a signal oscillator. We're still bullish. So we're looking for that turning point, which we get right here. So we could have entered somewhere around this high to take that low. Same with the downside. This bullish signal popped up at the high here. So I would want to wait probably for a reversal signal like this little guy down here on the oscillator for a potential setup, which happened right here. But again, this is if you can identify that range. So this being in a range, we know that, maybe contrarian signals this is the time to use it. So that's just something to help you identify whether it's ranging or not. And that can help you, if you do like trading ranges, can help with your extra confirmation. But for now, I like using the regular signals and overlays. And I'm going to go back to the default settings. But let's see here. Let's go to gold again. You guys mentioned, let's see. Actually, let's go back and talk about something that someone mentioned earlier. I'm going to look over the chat real fast. Bitcoin, Tesla, Bitcoin. We did go over Bitcoin there for a minute. NASDAQ. We can do the NASDAQ. NASDAQ was the first on the list. So let's go to the NQ. I like looking at the NASDAQ futures. Obviously, because of FOMC, we've just been hammered. I'm changing the sensitivity to 12, okay? So 12 optimal sensitivity on the dashboard. That's my personal preference. A lot of people like the autopilot where you can pick, if you're a short-term, mid-term, long-term trader, you can do that. But for me, I want to see what it tells me. And so let's take a look at the NASDAQ here and what we could have gotten out of a potential trade. Now, notice something quite interesting here. We have a bearish turning point at these highs at the extended period on the oscillator, but this thing was just consolidating, right? It was just moving back and forth. So noticing that, getting a bullish signal, but then flipping right back into a bearish signal. If I can grab my drawing. Noticing a bullish signal, and this thing extending, flipping back into a strong bearish. Notice this one's not a strong bullish. That there could have been that first sign of hitting a nice downtrend move. Now, this is the 1 hour. Let's take a closer look at the 5 minute if there was any trades today. Let's change our sensitivity to 16, of course, because it told us to, and see what we get. It'll update. Maybe that's what we got there. Let's see here. 25 maybe changes it to, can't tell if this thing is updating or not. 100. Sometimes you might get a little buggy. Okay, so it is updating. So, okay, 16. We are in consolidation then. This is what it tells me. You can already tell from the smart trail that consolidation is there. The smart trail's flat. It's flat. It's flat. Why would, look at the difference, right? Look at the difference in this smart trail here, the angle versus these smart trails. So noticing that with these signals flipping back and forth, we have consolidation. So I'm not going to be trading that. I would want to see, a breakout of one of these lows and highs here. So we have this low, right? And here's another cool feature for those of you that don't know. If you go into the price action concept, scroll on the bottom, you can do your lows and highs for the daily, Mondays, weekly, monthly, quarterly. So we'll see here the previous day's high and low. Previous day low was back here, way back there. And then obviously weekly high and previous day high. I mean, this thing moved like crazy yesterday because of FOMC. But for now, we know that's previous day's low. So maybe that could be a target to our upside if we do get that breakout. But let's look at, we have this low here, right? We're getting a little bit of reaction so far. We have this high. Because I'm seeing these smart trails back and forth like this, and I'm seeing these signals back and forth like this, I'm not going to be taking a trade to one of these breaks, right? Because we are in consolidation. We've got to break out of this consolidation. Now, if I want, I can trade these on just price action because I know it's ranging now. So that's another thing. If you can identify that the market is ranging, right, then what you can do is you can tick off the trend following indicator. Okay, so if I tick off the trend following indicator, which is the price, which is the signals and overlays, which follows trends, then bam, I can trade the range as well. I can trade that price action. So noticing these highs and lows here, we can see what happened. We rejected off of this order block, and then we had a leg down. We set another order block and we retested the low. Now we're trying to reject off this order block for the NASDAQ. So for now, I'm still bearish because what? We got the money flow starting to increase like crazy. And guess what else? We have the indicator, the hyperwave resetting at the 50. So seeing that reset here at the 50, this could be another possible short entry. From the price action concepts alone and the oscillator, I'm seeing a potential short setup again to extend this because we already extended the upside, set a lower high on the hyper trend, and now we're just continuing that trend. And this thing is just selling off now. So we have a trend happening here that is potential. Now this is just based off today's intraday price action. So we'll go back over Bitcoin here in a little bit. Rock, we just went over it not too long ago. Also, guys, these streams are saved and will be posted on our YouTube, so you can go back and watch them as well. But for now, I would like to see that low be broken. If we do get a turning point here, we could potentially take a a nice little, fake trade and see how it plays out. But again, this is another thing that I always talk about on stream. What has happened? We have been in a massive downtrend, right? So if I take a short down here, my risk to reward needs to be super low. It needs to be a scalping opportunity. It doesn't need to be anything more. Now up here at this, I had already a nice setup for a low risk to reward because this was a high volume order block of 67%, first of all. Second of all, if you look, if I were to take a short here, my risk is only above that order block. It's only above that high, right? So taking a 1-to-1 still at this level would have hit just fine, and a 2-to-1 would have hit just fine. So that's just identifying that reject after, again, look here. This is another potential, let me see here. It didn't take out this high here, right? Didn't take that high out. Oh, what's that? Didn't take that high out, but it did take this previous pump's high out, and then it closed lower. So seeing that alongside the high volume 67% order block, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I take a short off that for a scalp if you are a scalper? So there you go. If this thing here, this is where that turning point is occurring. If that turning point does hit, we could take a simple 1-to-1, very, very minor risk to reward here. I probably wouldn't put a stop over that order block high. Could be worth it, but for now, that there is iffy because look at this. Here is above that previous turning point. So that trend could be broken there. But let's see. Everything's lining up other than, let me see. This is so this is lining up as well. There could be opportunity, but again, the reason why the risk is so low on this is because of the massive downtrend we've been in. So it's definitely trying to find that support here around the 14,940 level. So let's take a look at the next things I want to look at. Yes, what I'm saying, fandom, if you do short at this level, the only reason you would short is if you wanted to take a very low risk trade because it's a very high risk opportunity because of this massive trend that was just in. So there's no reason for you crazies to take a short here, but I'm saying if you would, you have to go low risk. Even if everything's lining up, you have to go low risk. It's just, I would, if your normal position size is like 5 lots or something, you drop it to like 2.5 or like 2 lots just because, I mean, there's no reason to short at these lows. So let's look over the next thing people mentioned. Somebody said the NASDAQ earlier. Okay, and he said US 30, but we'll do one at a time. Bitcoin. Some guy said Apple. We can look at Apple. Remember we talked about Apple yesterday. We'll look at Bitcoin next. I'm just going down a list of what people mentioned to look at. We got the Tesla 1 hour. Somebody mentioned we got Bitcoin. And yes, we'll look at Bitcoin next because we have a lot of people asking about it. And then Tesla as well. Tesla and Bitcoin coming up. All right, so Apple here. We talked about this yesterday with the daily chart. We didn't like that daily chart. And I'm gonna just take off this again. But here's your high and low feature. Now we talked about the daily here and us waiting for something to change, right? Now, a setup that could happen is if we maybe retest this order block one more time and we show them when it bounced there. The oscillator is at its lows. It is coming down. So if Apple were to come back down, retest the bottom of that smart trail and this order block, potentially you could take a trade. But again, this is something where because of what everything is telling us, down here around the 172 level, I would just buy shares. For those of you that trade options, if you want to buy a year or two in advance, sure. But I wouldn't buy anything like short-term option-wise. And that even the beginning of the year, if that's what you were looking at, that's still not long-term. Long-term would be probably like late 2024 into 2025 if they provide those options yet. But again, waiting to see if we can retest this or these lows from the previous days here on Apple. before getting any long-term trades. Yeah, it's just in this period where it's consolidating because of everything that's going on in China. If you were to day trade this, though, same situation. You don't really, you just got to wait for the proper setup, right? So we had, that break of structure. You had that change of character. This came back, but notice the money flow is just bearish. I don't want to trade anything where the money flow is bearish and these candles aren't green. Even with the optimized sensitivity, it's probably, okay, it was already close. Even with the optimized sensitivity of 17, so the candles are purple. So that's just saying it's in the middle of something here, like wait, right? So again, Apple, long term, I would wait a little bit, maybe till it shows you that it wants to bounce again off this order block. But other than that, it's pretty weak. It's going to follow most of the market, so always keep an eye on what the market's doing. 5 minute from, let's see, this was yesterday. Yeah, nothing too crazy for this guy. But let's take a look now at Bitcoin again. Oop. Did that pull? It probably pulled the wrong one. Let's do this. Bitcoin again, we talked about this. We go to the daily chart already, but we'll go one more time. Change our sensitivity back to 11. We are rejecting that order block, right? We showed last week that we were bouncing off this order block and we wanted to target the 27,000, and our target got hit there for 27,000. We are now, yes, we'll touch on Amazon as well for those of you asking about Amazon. And Tesla is going to be after this. So we got Tesla, then Amazon. But I'm sure it's going to look similar to Apple. But, Apple did have that news, so it probably is a little different. But again, Bitcoin here, daily chart, rejecting that order block. Because we're in this rejection, I'm not too bullish on it. Okay, we're in this rejection. We got a nice sell candle there. If we go to the 4-hour, hold on. We go to our 4-hour chart. We're in a downtrend. Oscillator's trying to come back down. Let me reset the sensitivity to 15 like it tells us. See, we're starting to break that smart trail. Now, we rejected as well right here off of that. Rejected this 7% order block from before. Getting that bearish signal. A short could be a potential opportunity here on this 4-hour. And what I would look for is break of that smart trail, retest, and then head lower. So you would want to see the oscillator turn, reject, and then head lower, right? So essentially this is a potential 4-hour setup at some point, not yet, but break of the smart trail, which is breaking right now, pull back, and then you enter on your pullback there. When you get that turning point, when the oscillator resets, right? So essentially it would become a breaker block is what you would probably get that entry on. So if this becomes a breaker block, then I would want to use that as my potential entry, so long as the oscillator resets. The air signal from the main indicator has delay before the candle. The signals, they pop up on candle close. So if the parameters hit on that for a signal to occur, it will pop up on the candle close. But you might see as the candle is being traded, if it's volatile, you might see the signal pop up and then go away, pop up, go away, pop up, go away, because it's waiting on that candle close. So as long as it closes for that signal to pop up, then it will trigger that signal. Next up was Tesla. So again, Bitcoin, we think it's gonna, because it's in this weird period, we think it is gonna go a little bit lower, and we'll look at that later. Tesla 4-hour, looking at it now, I got to change our sensitivity to 12. Been a little bit back and forth here. We had that, nice break of structure. Had an exit signal, a relong, now another exit signal, and we gapped down, right? We're still bullish on the money flow, but the money flow is decreasing, right? Notice this money flow decreasing here. So seeing that decrease, I'm not a big fan of where Tesla's at. right? So this is the 4 hour. Right now, this lower 4 hour block 250, sub 250, so below 250. Smart Trail sitting there too. So this could actually end up maybe being a nice target / bounce level around the 250s. But let's look at the 1 hour, and then we'll look at the 5 minute. Again, here we're in a kind of no man's land on Tesla here. We got order blocks sitting here, down here. We got order blocks sitting up here. There's nothing here that's conflicting with what we want to do. Oscillator was starting to have that turning point. But again, on the 5 minute here, it's changed the sensitivity back to 16. 5 minute. Once that updates, we just got a bullish signal after. No, we didn't get any break of structure to the downside. A lot of consolidation going on here, right? Notice after this massive down move, right? After this massive down move, the oscillator is extended just on this small up move. The volume, the bullish volume is there, or sorry, the bearish volume is still in control here. So I'm not going to be looking for longs on Tesla until we get those confirmation, like we talked about many times. We want to see this oscillator reset, right? We want to see the price reset. Show us that strength. It'd be nice if price were to come up, break that smart trail first, and then reset. I'd rather break that smart trail and then reset on the 5 minute for a trade. But for now, that's what we need to occur before we look for any type of long trade or anything like that. Turn on premium discount indicators. Yeah. So if you want to look at the premium discount indicators, you can go into the price action concepts indicator, which I just deleted. Let's bring that back up. Got my defaults on, but my only thing that's going to be different is the label size. But again, yeah, we can turn on, like he was just saying in the chat there, the premium discount zones. Where is Tesla sitting? It is sitting in a discount right now, right? Sitting in a discount zone. Now, since it's sitting in a discount zone, I still want to see a setup occur. There's no setup occurring right now. Oscillator is extended. Why would I, when I get in a reversal signal on the upside to short, why would I take this as a long? I'm not going to. So I need to see a reset. If I get a reset on that, and then we show a setup in the discount zone, then we do look good for a potential upside trade. But Tesla for now, because the volume's so weak, not a huge fan. Let's look at the hourly with the discount. Hourly, we are in a premium. Okay, we're in a premium on the hourly, so it's like again, that's why I'm saying, we need to get a proper setup. We're right at equilibrium, sure, but you can see we've broken now to the premium side. Premium side is this whole area up here. It's the whole premium area. Yeah, we'll go over Amazon next. If you promise to not spam Amazon again, I promise you I will go over it. But I need you to promise you won't spam it. Everyone likes to spam there, Mickey, don't they? All right, Tesla breaking out of that equilibrium, right? We're currently in a gap as well. We got a gap over here that we've just now trying to fill where that equilibrium's sitting. So but we're still in that premium. So in my opinion, honestly, with interest rates staying where they're at in this massive bearish reaction, and honestly, I think when's a better thing to say. I'm gonna take off premium. Since we're in a premium zone, when Tesla resets, maybe fills this upside gap from the daily opening gap here. When Tesla resets that, honestly, might go a swing short. I mean, just based on what's being shown already on the higher time frames and even the 4 hour. Like we've had a nice small pullback, upside move here. Maybe we're bound to come retest some of these lows that we set earlier in August because of the news that the rates aren't really going anywhere. But again, I don't know if it would go that low. This is why we say target these order blocks. So sub 250 is the first order block. Second order block is sub 235. So seeing that, I think there's a possibility. Let's change this to 12 too, just to see. We're gonna go over Amazon now. Amazon. Let's take a look. Massive gap down on Amazon. Did any news drive this? No, it looks like longest losing streak since February. So I'm assuming I'm not really following the news on Amazon. Which one's the news? Data window, yeah. Oh, did they just move it to nah, news comes off the details. Forgot about that. I think. Maybe not. Maybe they moved it. Now they have it there. But Amazon here on an analysis front, obviously it's getting that reaction from FOMC unless there's something else that's driving this today. Let's update that sensitivity real quick. We're inside this order block, right? So Mickey's tips and tricks, he doesn't like trading, right? Inside a 4-hour order block. And I think it's a great way, a great rule to have. Because essentially the only way to know if this is going to bounce here, right? The only way to know if this is going to bounce is if there's a reaction. Well, to confirm a reaction, we bounce or come out of that order block. So we would need this order block to be confirmed by coming back out of it or breaking down below it, which it already, there you go. With price at this very moment, it's trying to take out that order block. And you might see here in a second, if price gets bought back up for a second, this order block is going to pop back up. And that's because there you go. That's because this order block, remember, these are only confirmed once the candle closes. So we got 33 minutes on this candle close for this 4-hour order block. The only way I would like to take this is if we show a reaction. And in order for that to happen, we need to have a candle that closes outside of this 4-hour order block. So it needs to close above that, and it keeps coming out. It needs to close above that at probably 133 level. So it's already trying to take out this order block as we speak, which is a good indication of it just showing you how they work. So seeing that, there you go, back up again. Yeah, 133, over 133. If you get a candle close on that, that's where you could consider, okay, maybe there's a buy going to happen. Because honestly, seeing this money flow here, seeing this extended, you got bullish money flow, and you got this price extended down here. That's obviously a divergence in what price is doing, right? And the price action. So if we get a nice bullish kind of engulfing candle tomorrow, you get something like, give me a box. Where's a box? Yeah, you get something like this tomorrow. I don't know why that didn't. Oh, hold on. Give me my box back. There you go. Something where it's like a bullish engulfing, something like that. Oh, if I can move it. Let me make it green. There you go. You get something like that tomorrow, then I would maybe consider a long entry. But ideally, you would want it to come out. You want it to come out of that order block. And then that's when that bullish flow will kick back up. You'll see the bullish money flow coming back in, and then that turning point. So this is something you wait for. You want to wait for something like that tomorrow for a potential buying opportunity. But for now, no, there's no buying going on. Nothing you want to trade off of that. So 5-minute wise, yeah, this is just consolidating. It had that massive sell-off after yesterday, and most stocks I think today are just trading sideways, especially when you have that aggressive of a move to the downside. Usually you just level off. We will do US. Yeah, people keep asking for US 30. So let's go over US 30. I'll just do black bulls here. Let's look at the 4 hour first. See where we're at. Got some upside order blocks. Let's increase. We got to make sure our sensitivity's there. Let's increase our order blocks as well, and see if we have anything. So yeah, we have these levels down here that we're watching. Obviously, we have a previous support level, but there's no order blocks showing up here. But for now, I mean, we're just trying to retest these lows. We are pretty low on this, so there's really nothing trade-wise to take on a 4 hour time frame. I mean, before, this is still rough because you had change character. We were in consolidation, so it is kind of cool. We are seeing a break on this consolidation. Here was that low, and here was these highs, right? We just broke this right here. All right, so we just broke out of that consolidation. I'm gonna remark that. I mean, you can see here this that swing change of character there. So we just broke out of that consolidation. So you could potentially, based on these lows here that it bounced off of, and let's see, maybe that might have been a breaker block actually, and that's another good reason why it might be worth putting up breaker blocks. I guess it wasn't. No, it wasn't a breaker block. So breaker blocks are obviously, they're more hollow blocks. I don't think that popped up. Nah, it looked like it. Looks like we just busted through it. But again, broke that low. I would want to see a retracement and then another reject off that low to confirm this trend. Because now look, here's a great thing to go over with these signals and overlays. Our sensitivity obviously is 19, but notice here sideways, right? I mean, you had a little bit of upturn, but it flattened back out. Sideways. This thing tried to get going, but then it flattened out. Now we're showing that there's a trend potential, right? The only way for US 30 to get this trend to work is you broke that low, and this is the first step to this hitting a downtrend, right? We had our first lower high here. Now to get our second lower high, we want to see this thing continue in its direction. So this could set up with the oscillator. Oscillator could flip here, get bearish money flow somewhere with a turning point somewhere around here, and then we have that trend. So I would want that, after this low being broken, I want the retracement somewhere between 300, right around there. 300 would be good. Anywhere where it's a confirmed lower high. So we get another confirmed lower high. That would be optimal entry. But for now, since we just broke that low, there's nothing really to talk about. And then, yes, we'll go over crude oil. So Dow Jones US 34 hour bearish. The 5 minute, let's look at the 5 minute chart. Consolidating. Same situation as most of these. There you go. Non-consolidating, consolidating. There's a big difference here. This is asking for an 18 sensitivity. It probably won't change too much. But non-consolidation, consolidation. So essentially, if you want, if we do get a breakout of this, we do have a trend, on the intraday a little bit. But I want to see this thing break that low. This low has got to be broken. This low either has to be swept and it bounces, or it has to be completely broken and then we get that retracement for an entry. But during consolidation, absolutely no reason to be even trading it, because as you can see here, it's a lot better to wait for something like this, right? I'm going to take off the amount of order blocks that I just popped up on. It's a lot better to wait for something like this. To wait for a signal. After a break of structure, change of character, retracement, reject. And then a downside move here. Here, a turning point here. Bearish flow increasing. All of that flagging for a trend opportunity. And it had that big trend yesterday. Obviously, this is during FOMC, so I wouldn't suggest trading during that because of the the volatility, but that's essentially what you're gonna look for. Like early this morning, same situation. Look at this breaker block. Broke the breaker block, rejected the break, or broke the order block, made it a breaker block, rejected it, continued lower after a signal. Beautiful little setup there. But for now, this is nothing. This is nothing you want to even consider yourself trading here. But nice little breaker block reject there for sure. I'm gonna turn those off. But yeah, so we forgot with price action concepts, have a nice high volume order block down here. So noticing that we're choppy, boom, boom, 5-minute chart chop. If we get a reaction off of this order block, bam, and the money flow flips, maybe there's a trade opportunity here for a short, or sorry, for be a long, but a scalp, a long scalp. Crude oil. Let's go take a look at crude oil. We've been going for about 53 minutes here. When we hit that hour mark, Mickey's gonna come in with his tips and tricks yet again, and we will go over some last minute questions and call it a day. But crude oil, we wanted to look at 4 hour. Let's start with a 4 hour. Why not? 4 hour, we've broken this trend. But guess what? Bounce off that order block, right? Now, for those of you that were like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to trade these order blocks and take entries when they, close on the outside of them because I shouldn't trade them on the inside. Well, if you get a candle that's that far away from the order block, I would not suggest taking the trade, especially if there's a high just set. An order block bounce, we want to see a little bit of, consolidation happening. That's very minor, and then a nice volume spike. But anything that's just wham like that, I probably wouldn't suggest taking it because, you can already see that this candle is getting hammered back down. So it's setting that lower high now, and this could potentially set up. We would want to see the money flow change bearish on the 4 hour. And then we're getting that reject here now. Actually, let me make sure we're optimized. So we're pretty much optimized. We were one sensitivity off. So ideally, we want to see some strong red candles again, like this. So rejecting the smart trail right now. I want to see this turn red on the oscillator down here and a bearish turning point, and then candle turn red. If that's the case, I think you do have a longer term move on crude oil. You could probably target this lower order block here of 86.31. But for now, it's waiting. Everything's a waiting game, guys. That's why there's so many different things to look at. Is because maybe if one's not set up, another one is. It's like, go look at some other ones, wait for the proper setup, and then execute when the setup occurs. You don't have to sit around and watch these 24/7. You can also set alerts for these type of things in our indicators as well. Like price action concepts, you can set up a nice alert creator here. So one of my favorite setups is I look for, like we talked about, you go for a bullish or bearish break of structure to occur. I would make that step one. And then I want to look for a bullish order block right after that as step two, right? Because essentially that's going to indicate that there is a upside move that occurred. If I said bullish, I think. Upside move that occurred, and then a bullish order block. Sorry, I put bullish. No, that's right. I'm gonna do bearish. So that means a downside trend occurred, but in this case we'll do we need a bullish BOS and then a bearish order block. So what that means is I'm looking for that BOS that we talked about, and then we get that change of character. When that change of character occurs, a lot of times there's a bearish order block that also occurs. So getting that BOS into a bearish structure change, I can set that up as a step series, step one, step two, and I hit OK, and then I add an alert, and then I go on to the functions and I click custom alert creation on bar close, and then I hit create. I can name it whatever I want, and every single time that occurs, it will let me know. And we can look here at these right here, these dots, right? This is going to tell me when it has occurred in the past. So it occurred right here. Well, guess what? Look at this. This occurred right here. This is our setup. So if I was just looking for that, boom, occurred right here. If I were to take, a trade off of just that, we got, money flow that flipped. The only thing that didn't flip was the smart trail. But if we were to take in this stop loss above that, go for a 2-to-1, which is here. Let's see if that ends up hitting. But I would have gotten alerted for it. And we almost hit that 2-to-1. So we hit, like I always talk about, usually take, oh wait, I had the, no, okay. There's the 1-to-1 is where I always take my normal profits. 2-to-1 wouldn't have hit. But again, depending on, this is a 4-hour time frame. So if you see the structure shifting like that, change character there, you could have taken off, you could have closed your position for about break even. So it's like, that's where, that alert creator comes in. It can help you identify when a good entry is. Now, if we were to wait for that smart trail to flip, you would have these rejections here off that smart trail for a nice little downside scalp. But for the 4-hour, they're just taking it off of there. We had that, nice little 1-to-1, close to 2-to-1. I think it was like 1.5-to-1 setup. But let's see. Let me go back on crude oil. For now, the current market structure that we're seeing is a possible reversal. So we want to see this flip, this continue to reject, and then probably liquidate that order block, candles turn back red, and then we'll be looking for this lower, the 86 area more than likely. Let's see. Somebody said PayPal. Let me see here. In just a second, we'll have Mickey come in with his tips and tricks. But let's see here on the PayPal, 11%, same type of situation we're seeing. Sorry, 11 sensitivity. Same type of situation we're seeing on most of these. And wow, yeah, this is just brutal. So with PayPal getting hammered today, 5-minute also getting hammered today. I mean, the entire market is getting hit pretty hard. We're in, this 1-hour order block still. But again, like we talked about several times, we want to see these really, really come out of those order blocks before it being confirmed. So if it were to bounce here, come out of that order block, then maybe have an opportunity. But PayPal 59 order block, wait for that. It is extended on the oscillator, so maybe you have a little bit of reaction. But for now, it's just a bad time to be in anything long. So I would sit on your hands, maybe wait for some consolidation, especially with FOMC that just occurred yesterday. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. We'll come back in just a second when we jump over to Mickey for his tips and tricks. And then we can go over a few more last minute things before we close out. But hopefully you guys got some good little bit of analysis there on some of the things you wanted to look at. Again, the indicators I'm using are shown at the top of the screen: the price action concepts, the signals and overlays, the oscillator matrix. You can get 30% off right now using code LUX30, as well as 30 days risk-free. All you have to do is go to that LuxAlgo website and just click that button, get 30 days risk-free, and you will, and use code LUX30. But we're going to step over to our main man, Mickey. He's going to give us a little bit of insight on what he's seeing today. Let me set you up there, and we should be good to go. Mickey, take us away.
All right, welcome. Thank you for having me again. This is awesome. This is awesome. Everyone can hear me, right?
Yes.
All right. Um, Thank you, Jacob, for going over your entry and getting really detailed on how you look for your setups, right, on your entry chart.
Of course.
Um, for me, my background is I have been wrecked to the left, to the right, up, down, sideways, smacked around, right? I won't even talk about how much real money I've lost, in my early years of the over 20 years of trying to do this, right? But I in the room, in the Discord room, the VIP room, I kind of guide everyone on to step back and to get back on that horse and look at the market, your charts in a different way, right? Dummy it down, make it visually easier for you, and trade the easy chart, the decluttered chart, right? Right now I have the dollar index, you read that right, on a 1 minute chart. It's all relative. This could have been a 5 minute, 15 minute, it does not matter. Just picture your entry chart time frame. We wake up and everyone puts on their entry chart, right? But on this entry chart, if you look at it, it's kind of choppy, right? And you're looking for the trade. I understand. You're looking at the matrix, you're looking at the levels, I want to go long, I want to go short, right? But right now it says short, right? It's all red, right? Let's zoom back out a little bit. Okay. Wow, LuxAlgo is awesome. Look at that sell, right? I'm going short. Well, guess what? If we zoom out and look at the overall bias of the day, of the week, of the month, right? It gives me a different picture. The higher the time frame, right, the more of the fundamentals and the news is incorporated into your charts, right? I'm at fault too. Sometimes we forget about the news. Sometimes we forget about what JP said yesterday, 2 days ago, or even last month. We always concentrate on the technicals and the chart, which is good, right? But there's times that we need to know the overall picture of world economics, right? And to me, I believe if we zoom out to a higher time frame, we get that story. Okay, now let's crank this up to a 4-hour, my favorite trend bias time frame. 4 hour. All right, let the indicators load up a little bit. Right now we are in a long trend, bullish, right? But on my entry chart it said short, right? So now you step back and you need to make sure if you're going to take a short, knowing the long-term trend is bullish, you need to be spot on your scalp, just like Jacob says. If you're going to take the trade, dial down your contracts, risk to reward. Know where your exit is, know where your target is. If you want to take that short, be careful and be on your toes, right? So every morning I'm looking at the dollar index, 4 hour. I also head over to the Forex market, where there's a heavy correlation and inverse correlation on most pairs. When the dollar goes up, typically Forex follows suit, depending on where that US dollar is in the front part of the pair or the back half of the Forex pair. Big Daddy, Euro USD. Okay? The US dollar is situated in the second position of the pair, right? USD, the back half of the pair. So if the dollar goes up, price needs to follow the dollar, right? So the USD is in the second half. Price needs to go down. It's following the dollar, okay? USD JPY. The dollar is in the front spot of this pair. USD JPY. So if the dollar index is bullish, the USD JPY will be bullish as well, in theory. Okay. So that's your correlation, inverse and correlation of the USD JPY and Euro USD. Now there's also correlations to the overall market as well. Not as heavy, but it does have an effect. The dollar has an effect on the whole entire market. The next instrument I take a look at is the S&P futures, right? ES on a 4-hour, okay? Not too bad with signals and overlays, right? We are in an obvious downtrend, you know, right now, these past week, fundamentals is screaming in our face. JP, FOMC, down, 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 right? Blood red FOMC, that's the ES mini. We can flip it over to the NASDAQ, tells the same story, right? NASI, same story, okay? Next one is gold. I like to see gold. Little commodities action, right? When the dollar goes up, meaning I am going to save my money in my savings account, I don't want to buy gold. So typically, sometimes, most times in general, gold will head lower, okay? Next one, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's another story. Yes, there's some correlations with the dollar, but with Bitcoin and crypto, there's other heavy factors involved with this area as well. You know, with all the exchanges and news related out there. So this one's tough. This one's tough. I'm gonna admit it. I am a newbie with crypto, but I am learning to wrap my head around this space with the help of other members in our VIP group. Okay, I'm still a student, right? I'm still a student, and still learning. Okay, now let's head over to price action concepts. I want to go over what Jacob has talked about briefly on the 4-hour order blocks. Okay, let me bring up a default price action concepts template, which is this. This is default. Okay, let's head over to the settings. All default here. Okay, you have your market structures on, scanner, order blocks, right? Show the last 5, length 5, have all the metrics on, all the defaults, right? Pretty good, nice, clean chart. But I do have a 4-hour time frame up. I love to use 4-hour for my trend bias. Well, how can I utilize this for market structure? Can I tell the trend bias of market structure? Sure, I could do that. What I do is, let me flip it to my decluttered chart. Here is the dollar index on a 4-hour. Let's go over the settings. All right. Right now, I want to show as many order blocks as possible. Why? Just like Jacob demonstrated, he wanted to see levels below, right? He wanted to see future potential targets, okay? So I have 500, you could put 100 if it doesn't matter. It's just all relative. I just want to see the next level below me, okay? 500, I made this chart real clean and simple. I have this overlap enabled, that's default, okay? So it gives me a clean chart, right? Here's the dollar index. And what I want to concentrate is where is price located around these major key levels. For me, myself, I like to use one simple SMC or ICT or market structure concept. The concept is the order block or breaker block play. I want to see price reject off of these key levels, right? I want to see it bounce up or bounce down, right? I don't want to trade inside an order block. There are occasions where I do, right? If the order block is huge and on a lower time frame, if I see a juicy trade, I'm going to scalp that sucker. But in general, I want to see price react away from these key levels. Okay? First example, here's a perfect example that occurred, right? Here's the dollar index. Let me zoom out a little bit, right? Here is an order block that was formed way back when. How many years ago? No, I mean, I'm just joking. How many months ago, right? It formed way back, right? There we go. Way back here. March, right? Let's head over to here. Why is this important? Well, it's important, right? It rejected. Okay. When price starts to tag or touch a 4-hour order block, I am going to zoom down to a 15-minute or 5-minute price action concepts template. I want to see something to take a short trade, right? I'm not looking for a long trade right now, right? Trading is 50-50. You either go long or you go short, right? I want to concentrate on one direction only. It may be the wrong direction, right? But at least I want to make my life easier. So which is the direction I want to trade in this instance? While this bullish bar is heading up and tagging this 4-hour order block, I want to see a short. I don't want to see a long, because I do not want to take a long inside this order block, right? I want to see a short. So when price is tagging this, I am going down to either a 15-minute or 5-minute, and I want to see market structure break to the downside, and I'm going to scalp this son of a gun, right? Now let's switch it over to a 15-minute, okay? Here is a 15-minute chart with just 15-minute order blocks. All right, let's go over to settings. I have overlaps enabled, okay? 15-minute order blocks, okay? But I need to see where the 4-hour order block is. There's a couple ways you can do this, right? Have two charts open. Have two charts open. Right, here you go. Here's your cursor, right? 4-hour order block, and here's your price around here, okay? But I can make my life much more easier. This is what I love about Lux, right? This little trick I do. I add another instance of price action concepts, right? I add another instance, and on this second price action concept indicator, I am going to adjust the settings to show me 4-hour order blocks only. So now I will have 4-hour order blocks overlaid on top of 15-minute order blocks. Let's turn that on. If I can remember which one. There you go. The 4-hour order block. Well, let me go into the settings and show everyone. See, I have everything hidden, disabled, and only turn on order blocks. 4 hours, okay? And I have them colored grayish, right? Grayish color. So now I have 4-hour order blocks overlaid on top of my 15-minute order block chart. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna hide the trend lines and patterns for this example. Huh? Here we go. Give it a second. There, disappeared. Okay, here is the 4-hour order block. I'm going to show you that. So now it's much more clearer, right? When price tags this 4-hour order block on a 4-hour chart, I'm going to zoom down to a 15-minute or a 5-minute, and I'm going to watch for market structure break to the downside, right? I want to see path. This is my path. I want to see that path. Okay? I want to see a touch and a break to the downside. Where is that break to the downside? Where are those scalps, right? In general, right? In general, here are the market structure breaks. Change of character. There's one. There's another big one, right? Let me get rid of the watermark. Well, let's dial it down a little bit. There you go. Okay. There's your two scalps. Okay. Not too shabby. Boom. All right. Well, let me. This one, you move it a little bit over here. There's your scalp right there. Okay. That's another technique. Just like I mentioned a couple days ago, you know, I could bring in Jacob, you know, hey, you know, price is rejecting off this 4-hour order block. Hey, get on your 15-minute template, you know, get me a short entry, right? It doesn't matter. Yeah, right. We're going to tag team this entry, right? It doesn't matter what technique you use or what concept, your entry chart, right? Doesn't matter if it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 15 minutes, 30 minutes. It doesn't matter if you use signals and overlays. It doesn't matter if you use an SMC template, right? The bias and my rule for a 4-hour order block is I want to see a rejection short, right? Once I decide I want to see a short, I could bring up any technique to take the short. Right? But for this example, I'm going to bring up a price action concept template. I want to look for a short. Here's my short entry. But some of you may say, well, if I wait for a change of character, that may be too late. Yeah, right. Could be. It could be. Just follow your rules, right? We can change that too, right? If you go into the settings, LuxAlgo, right? Not too many indicators allow this, right? But in LuxAlgo, we can change the internals and swings, right? The settings for this, the look back period, right? Default is 5. I want to see micro structure changes. Let's bring it down to 2. We could do that. Bring this down to 2. It's thinking right now. Let it update a little bit. Okay, there you go. Okay, it condenses a little bit, you know, maybe it gets you in a couple bars sooner. Maybe it'll show you the highs and lows a little bit more detailed, right? The highs and lows also change accordingly to your settings, your look back of your internals market structure, right? You can use the highs and lows. Look at this. Here's a higher high, right? When price tagged the 4-hour order block, right? It's creating this higher high. When did this higher high print? It printed around somewhere here, right? Okay, once it printed here, be on alert. Be on alert, right? Now we have another lower high. Could that be an entry? Lower high could have been formed right here. You could have scalped this right here if that is your rule, right? But guess what? Using confluence, you have a higher high, lower high. Guess what? Change of character to the downside. Boom. There's that setup. Same thing over here, right? Higher high, higher high. It tags the fair value gap, right? The inducement candle tags the fair value gap and heads back down lower, creates another lower high. Guess what? Change of character. Boom. So many confluences using market structure and price action concepts. Okay. So let's dial it back down a little bit. Let's zoom out a little bit and let me review the other symbols that I look at. Okay, that's the dollar. Next up is the ESE mini. Okay, take a look at this. All right, this is a nice play. Here we go. Here, I promised a few members in the VIP group that I describe and draw out the paths that I'm looking at, right? The setups. All right, here is the path Let's pretend we are at this bar, right? And here's some order blocks. What I want to see is this. I want to see a play like this, okay? Or I want to see a play like this, okay? I do not want to trade inside this 4-hour order block, right? I'm going to color that. Let's color that red, meaning no. All right? I do not want to trade inside this order block. Most times it's too choppy. I'll let, sometimes they're nice trending plays. I'll just let them go by. Don't care. I want to concentrate on two paths. I want to concentrate on the reaction and the rejection of the 4-hour order block. Okay? Take a look at this. It busted down, hit this order block. Now it's busting back up. It's ping-ponging. I'm staying away, right? If this order block did not exist, right? This one right here. If this one did not exist, by golly, I'm waiting for short entry, and I'm taking this trade down to this order block. That would be a nice scalp or a swing trade. Remember, these are 4-hour candles. This move right here from this order block to this order block, probably 3 or 4 days, maybe, right? That would be a nice swing play. But since we have an order block here, I am not risking a ping pong effect, especially Mr. Powell speaking yesterday. Don't want to do that. I have not traded today because I'm waiting for price to reset next week. Hopefully, the reset will be here, the bounce coming back up, right? Hopefully, I like to see this because we have clear skies up here. Clear skies. Down here, let's squish it down a little bit. A little condensed, a little here, right? I just need price to clear this order block, then I'm good. Okay, so that's the ES. Two paths. So when I talk about the two paths in the VIP room, this is what I mean. It's just a basic concept. I want to draw out two paths on the chart or draw it out in my head. So I concentrate and focus. I want to focus on one setup, right? On your chart, there's a million setups. We have a million strategies. But for me, when I clicked, right? When I started to actually make money and be successful is when I dial it down to one concept. Focus. Okay? Next one, Euro USD on the 4-hour. Right? Take a look at that. Take a look how price reacts to the order block. Look at that. Nice. All right. What if we turned on all the overlaps? I want to see all the levels. Why not? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Where it is right here. Disable that. Wait for the indicator to update a little bit. Nice. Okay. Look at that chart. Where do I want to trade? I want to trade here. Look at that real estate. All right. That's a lot of room. That's a lot of room. Okay. And I want to trade here. That's a lot of real estate. Okay. So here is my paths that I will draw. Price is right here. Right? I'm not trading. It's inside an order block. This is what I want to see. I want to see this. I want to see coming out. That's what I want to see. Okay. What about a long position? That's not going to happen for any time soon. This is my long position. All right. I want to see a play right there. Okay, those are the two paths, right? Right now, I am looking for a short play. I am monitoring the ebb and flow price action of this candle bar. right? So right now it's ticking up. I want to see it tick down and get close to this bottom edge. And then I'm going to flip down to a 15-minute, right? And watch it, all right? Wouldn't it be funny if a play set up right now? Turn on my 4-hour order blocks. Okay. You can use a 5-minute as well. There you go. Okay. Next one, Bitcoin. Take a look at Bitcoin. We're bouncing around. Okay. Take a look at this level. Take a look at this order block. How many times has it retested? How many times? Right? 1,000,000 times in here. Why is this level important? Just like I did with 15-minute charts, I can overlay a 4-hour order block on top of a 15-minute, right? What if a 4-hour chart is your entry chart? What if you are a swing trader? If you are a swing trader, a 4-hour or a 1-hour chart could be your entry chart, right? So what is my bias chart? Your bias chart could be a daily chart. So let me see. I want to see daily order blocks on top of this 4-hour chart. Let's add the daily. Add the daily. What I'm going to do is I am going to change this to daily in the settings, all right? Change that to daily because I want my daily. There we go. I'm going to change, add 4-hour order blocks. And here's my 4-hour order blocks, right? To chart. Okay. Now, what are we looking at? Take a look at this. This is a daily, right? And a 4-hour. Look at that. All right? It's an important level. Look how many times it rejected. So that's how I use order block overlays on top of my entry chart. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Same story. Here's gold. Look at this. Up, down. That's nuts. Okay. Here we have a beautiful breaker block play. Okay. Let me get rid of this watermark. Look at that breaker block play. All right. Goes up. Breaks through the order block. The order block did not hold, right? Comes back up, right? Breaker block rejects, price goes down. That's a beautiful breaker block play. Well, how do I play that? How do I trade this? Okay, when price breaks through, right? When it breaks through, go down to a lower time frame, right? On the surface, right? Per my strategy, I am looking for short. Right now, I am looking for short. So you go down to your 15-minute time frame, like I described on the dollar index chart. Look for a market structure break to the downside. Take that scalp, right? And then when the internal market structure changes to the upside, a bullish change of character, that trade is over, right? But now you're waiting for another retest of the 4-hour order block, right? It heads back into the 4-hour order block. Now you go back down to your 15-minute and you wait for another change of character break to the downside, right? You already scalped one time. It's over, right? Wait for the second one. Now you got a good trade on the second one. So that's how I trade a simple concept on a 4-hour order block chart. A lot of members have mentioned to me in the room, well, Mickey, that's just one trade a week. You're absolutely right. The less I trade, the safer I am, the longer I survive.
Less is more.
So, yeah, less is more. So once you perfect this concept, just pick any concept. I am not trying to say my concept, simple concept, is the only concept, holy grail. No. What the moral of the story is, pick that one ICT, one SMC concept. It could be a fair value gap fade, right? It could be the silver bullet on the last hour of New York. It does not matter. If you just pick one concept and you concentrate on that one concept, guess what? You will be an expert at that one concept, right? So when you are an expert, why don't you watch 1 or 2 or 3 more symbols? Now, instead of getting 1 or 2 setups a week, now how many setups are you getting, right? 2 to 10 setups a week if you're watching 3 symbols. Guess what? Now you are an expert at that concept. You are an expert, and the chart is giving you 10 opportunities a week to scalp this. You have a higher winning rate. You have a higher success rate because you study that one concept and you are an expert, right? So that's how I trade, right? If you can be an expert at 10 concepts, more power to you. You know what? I want to get to that level. I am not at that level yet, maybe someday, but right now I'm loving where I'm at right now. I concentrate on one setup, and guess what? I'm happy days. I'm paying the bills. Okay. That's it for me today. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you.
You have anything else?
Yeah, I was just gonna jump over and do our closing remarks, probably.
Oh, cool.
So actually, funny enough, while you were talking, I did get an alert I recently set up let me pull my chart back up on here. So we did get an alert for that, break of structure, change of character, order block set up with the price action concepts creator, right? So this is a huge update that we released a few months ago that we went over a little bit there, but there's these step and match features, market structure. Remember, I have it where I want to see BOS happen and I want to see a change of character happen or a bullish order block happen. So that at the time while Mickey was talking there occurred. As you can see, this little guy here went off. I go to my alerts. Actually, the one on here is broken on the desktop, but I did get an alert on my phone that got sent for this. So let's just say I blindly took an entry off of that level based on my analysis. I mean, this thing already hit 5.5 points of profit. So if I were to take a short scalp on this 5-minute trade, set my stop below the candle low there, we would have had a 1-to-1 setup. It's still playing out if I were to take my stop below that order block there. Since it's 9.5 points nearly of a trade, I mean, that's pretty massive if you're a scalper. So really taking it off the table there. But the point I'm making is that's how easy it can be to set up a custom alert for yourself if you're not able to watch the market the whole time. That little blue dot popped up, which means it triggered an alert so long as I had the alert set up within my trading view. And I could have came in, analyzed, and been like, okay, this is the right time to take a trade or not. But even if I blindly took it there, I mean, we had an opportunity of hitting about 5 points. I would never obviously suggest blindly taking anything unless you have confirmed and back tested that strategy to work. But essentially, that's just a simple idea in which you could use that alert creator to help you identify your setups. So that was a nice little example to show you. But Mike, yeah, appreciate you coming into the stream. You do get 30 days risk-free on the website right now, and that'll go into ending the stream here, guys. For those of you that are new as well, just like Mike there in the chat, I would suggest you go to the website at LuxAlgo.com and check out the entire site. Of course, you can click that button to get 30 days risk-free. Something I would suggest is going to that resources tab. Obviously, if you're on mobile, you hit this little 3 bars in the right-hand corner. Click resources, and then check out the guides. The guides are completely free for anybody who wants to know more in-depth information on every single one of the premium indicators that you've seen today. You can go through here, and again, for those of you that want to know more about the custom premium alerts that I just said, the custom alert creator, we have documentation on that as well. But you can go over every single one of the features. We also have videos on our YouTube as well for those features. But this here explains best ways to use them, scenarios, and things to notice throughout, the different features that are offered. So I would suggest all you have to going and checking that out. All you have to do is click that tab or just click resources and guides. That's completely free. As well as for those of you that want to see some free indicators, go to our library tab here and check out all the free indicators. We are releasing ones every single week. As you can see, we released one yesterday, and this is the HTF fair value gap, and we release quite a few indicators every single week. So you can go and check it out. You can search based on, you could say smart money, and then you could say, oh, smart money concepts indicator. Or you can click any of these suggested things like channels or artificial intelligence. There you go. We have some AI indicators as well. But again, all of our development is done on the premium indicator. So we're constantly using every single, sought after feature that we put in the free indicators, and we develop them to be even better in our premium indicators. But again, we want to make sure we provide you with every technical indicator that you could ever want. So go check out some of those free indicators that we have released. You can also get them on other platforms like MetaTrader, Thinkorswim, NinjaTrader, TradeStation. But again, if you want to try out the premium indicators, you can for 30 days risk-free. Just go to LuxAlgo.com and click that 30-day risk-free button. But I think that's a good place to end it. Mickey, I appreciate you joining us once again.
Thank you.
I saw somebody said that we would need to get our friend Luke back in here. That'd be kind of fun. So we should reach out to Luke maybe and get him back on here soon to go over his FVG strategy that he has in the past. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Sweep. No, it's a good one. Yeah,
Luke's in the chat as well. Make sure, guys, to join the Discord. And you can on the website as well as or type in discord.gg/lux. Mickey's in there all the time talking with all of our premium members. When you do sign up, even with the 30 days risk free, you get access to the VIP section of the Discord as well. But we also have a free area too for you to hang out with us as we're trading every single day in there. There's over 150,000 of us, but it is very well maintained. There's no spam or anything like that. It's a great community for understanding how these indicators work, as well as trading alongside Mickey and I and some of our other more advanced traders in there as well that are using these indicators every single day. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Anything else you want to leave us with, Mickey?
No, everything is good. Thank you for having me. And, I chat a lot in the VIP, but it's awesome. I love it. This is a game changer for me personally. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank you
of course. Again. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Whoever just asked about going over the alert creator, really all you do is you go in to the price action concepts settings. Go all the way down to the bottom, you'll see alert creator mode. If you put all these eyes here are here to guide you, right? So if you want what I said there, you just check those two. Once you have that checked, once you have the steps that you want checked, all you do is click the three dots here on the price action concepts. You say add alert for the price action concepts, and then you click on this any alert function call, and then you scroll down. And there is a, custom alert condition. You just check that, and then that will trigger based on your custom alerts. Again, though, if you want to learn how you can use them more in depth too, you can go on to the guides and go through the price action concepts, custom alert creator. This will explain exactly how to use it, okay? So make sure that you go through this as well, and I can link that to you. But that's going to give you that full step-by-step process in order to know how to do it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to look at last-minute questions here. We might at some point, Robert, go over some of the free indicators, but again, the free indicators aren't really updated that much. Once we release them, they stay the same for a while until we eventually get back to them to update them. But for the premium indicators, we are constantly updating them, and we actually have a big update coming out for these signals and overlays very soon as well, probably next week, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so we will go over the free indicators at some point, but again, check out the website, see all those free indicators and all of our premium indicators. But I think we're going to end it there. We appreciate all the support, guys. Join the Discord, come hang out with us. But we'll be back next Tuesday, probably. So stay tuned for the next stream. You made it through FOMC, so I'm proud of all of you. Hopefully not a lot of you lost a lot of money during FOMC, but make sure to stay safe and recognize what's going on in the markets to kind of keep you from losing big on dates where, FOMC occurs or whatever it may be. So, yeah, guys, thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
All right, have a good one, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.